This is the 31st Lap Podcast, recorded live in the studios of FingerLakes1.com in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now, your hosts, Rich Post, John Bonus, Mike Mallet, and Chris Marquardt.
Good evening and welcome to this edition of the 31st Lap. I just blew John out of the water.
He jumped about 500 feet off the couch. Well, let's be honest. He barely moved.
He barely moved.
Yeah, my fat ass ain't jumping nowhere.
all those years of Miller Lite have deadened those nerves down to nothing.
Kill the brain cells too.
Don't start already.
Now all those lucky people at home can see me. I'm Chris Marquardt. Joining me in studio is everybody. You know, I feel like Mo from the Three Stooges because I'm the only one that is here for all of them.
Yeah, I'm not.
You feel like Mo?
Yeah, because he was the only one that
I've been here for all of them since racing season got done.
That's true. That's true. John Balmas, Mike Mallet, Rich Post, all joining us in studio tonight. There's Mike, Rich, and there's John coming to you from the lavish FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls. Thanks so much for joining us. We're streaming live on FingerLakes1.com. Follow the links to see the show as it happens. We got a stacked show for you tonight. We've got Matt Hirschman, the winner of the Turkey Derby and the Oswego Speedway Race of Champions 200. Picked up the win at the Turkey Derby over at the Wall Stadium. He'll be joining us first on deck, and then HigFab headman Jerry Higbie is going to be joining us, along with Brett Hearn's young protege, Matt Pappa, a little bit later on. Right off the top, Mike has a special treat for everyone.
Well, we got to celebrate.
We do have to celebrate.
Since we are all, and I normally don't drink on here, ever, but since we're all happy that Matt Keselowski won.
Ever?
Not on here. No.
In this studio, maybe.
I don't. Right, exactly. So, in honor of that, and since he got hammered on SportsCenter, we each have an adult beverage, so we're going to toast to start this one.
And what is it?
It's Miller Lite. That's why I got Miller Lite, because who won the championship, idiot? Who brought this guy tonight? He's really getting on my nerve. We've been arguing for the last half hour.
It should only be Miller Lite, regardless.
Oh, give me a break, all right?
So
here it is. So cheers to...
Yes, he did.
To Mr. Keselowski and Roger Penske on the championship. Yeah. There it is.
And
there
Roger and Dodge.
And goodbye, Dodge.
Yeah, and goodbye, Dodge. See you, Dodge.
We're going out on top.
Yep. All right, there we go.
Way to go. This is a part everybody at home's been waiting for. There we go. John has now finished his Miller Lite.
John, did you taste that?
Hey, you want a straw for the next one?
Holy cow.
I know what Miller Lite tastes like.
Yeah, you don't need to taste it. Just chug.
You want a straw?
He thought we were at a college party. He's over there. He's punching the bottom. He was going to shotgun it.
Did he bring a funnel?
Oh man. So yeah,
it's got a punch top built in.
Yeah. So how excited were all of us, to see Jimmy Johnson break? Actually, just to see him go a lap down because he screwed up and forgot to tighten the lug nut. You gonna fix that? Thanks. So how happy were you first to hear him get the penalty for the lug nut? I'm like, ha ha, idiot.
That was funny.
Well, now I'm counting his newest streak. That's
how many races are he going to break? That's 2 in a row.
2 straight years he hasn't won.
Not winning the title.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, me too. But for them to have mechanical problems 2 races in a row. That is so unusual for them.
The week before there was no.
It was a mechanical problem that caused them to crash.
Once he hit the wall.
No, the right front tire went flat. That's a mechanical problem still. I mean, that's not something that they can control. But to see him have that happen and then the following week, break the drivetrain, that doesn't happen.
It could be something they can control. It could, it could have had something to do with setup.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, tire pressure, things like that.
Yeah, so
too much camber or whatever.
So
regardless, it doesn't break my heart to watch him lose.
No, you know what you're talking about? Too much camber.
Mike and I talked a little bit about it.
He sounds like he does.
Listen, Mike and I talked a little bit about it on the way here. He mentioned the same scenario.
You're already under his skin.
Yeah, I know. Awesome.
I was glad that he had some failure or some problems that night or that afternoon during the race. But like I said to Mike, the only bad part about it that I saw was that it took the drama out of the end of the race. As far as the championship.
I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't want drama.
It was nice because it clinched it for Roger Penske and Brad. And
I was hoping when he was trying to pass Keselowski that Keselowski's going to turn left and stuff
the whole Penske racing team.
Yeah, I know.
But as a race fan, waiting for that drama for the last lap, Obviously, it took all that away, and that was the only downside.
I don't see it as a
but
downside.
I'm very happy the way it turned out.
As a race fan, I don't watch NASCAR because it's boring.
Yeah, exactly.
So
That's the best thing I've heard all night right there. As a race fan,
well, then why the hell are we talking about it?
Because
Keselowski won. He was
somebody
hammered on ESPN. That's awesome.
That was my favorite part of him winning. I didn't care that he won it. Just the fact that he was on ESPN with a 15-foot tall glass of beer, drinking it, going
like that.
Woo, doing that and everything. That was awesome.
I have to get one of those glasses. You know what? Having said that, I do want one of those big giant Miller Lite glasses really bad to add to my collection.
Mm-hmm.
They are actually Miller Lite posted on Facebook this afternoon, just before I had left the house to come here. They're doing an auction for one of those glasses signed by Brad and the entire Miller Lite team.
That's cool.
Wow, they're going to do an auction. I'm like, because it said win this glass, so I clicked on it. And I'm like, I want to win this.
When you said
it's in an auction, when I realized that you had a bid on it, I'm like,
okay.
When he realized it didn't come full of Miller Lite, he was done.
When you said
I would buy a glass. I don't want to bid on it because the auction's going to go through the roof.
Oh, it's going to be like $1,000 for a glass.
When you said that Miller Lite posted they were going to have an auction, I was thinking maybe they're getting a hold of you to find some of their old dated paraphernalia.
I think as a loyal supporter of Miller Lite, they should just give me one.
Good luck with that.
Out of dedication.
Yeah, not going to happen. Nobody gets anything for free.
That's not true.
You're like everybody else. You want something for nothing.
That's not true.
You haven't even earned
Everybody
it.
gets
Yes,
things
it
for
is.
free at some times in their lives.
No.
And I know you do, so don't even go.
I get into the races free. You're right.
Yeah. Isn't that why you write and do the things you do?
So it's not free then.
Yeah, you're working.
Yeah, so it's really not free.
I
I'm
didn't
working.
use that as an
It's
example. You did.
I'm just saying. I was figuring that's where you were heading with it.
No.
It's a barter system.
Yeah, it's bartering.
You
Totally
had a free
different.
ride here today.
Oh, I still had to drive to meet you.
No, that's not free. He had to sit and
With
listen to you
with
for
him.
the whole ride.
Yeah, we already been at each other's throats since we got here. It's been fun, yelling at each other, calling each other
Yelling at
idiots.
each
Shut
other.
up, moron.
You yelled at me. I didn't yell at you.
Can you feel
How
the
about
love?
how
How
about the
many
live
times
show
did he
from
call me an idiot before we started today? Chris?
I've called you 4 times an idiot on the show already, so and I think I called you a moron, so we're good.
Unfreaking believable.
Oh,
We've had a week off, can't you tell? We had Thanksgiving last week. It was great.
We took a week. Okay, you're an idiot.
By the way, we are officially a show now because we
Yeah.
have drank on the air
Yeah.
like every other show on this station.
which is no kidding. I mean, Lake to Lake girls, they drink wine every week.
Yeah, so
Chewed gum. They
but they,
you know,
they run.
yeah,
they
so
don't
we're-
the roof.
We're
They
celebrating.
don't drink. They
Yeah,
I don't
sloshed.
know what they do.
Yeah, that's more of a word. We're having a beverage.
Sonny
They
just said
celebrate.
if it wasn't for I'm not sure CV. I would think that's CVD, but it looks like CVB. If it wasn't for that, Mike and John would be married the way that you fight.
Oh, jeez.
And for those of you who don't know who CVB is, that
That's
would be
his
my
wife.
wife.
Oh,
Yeah, there you go,
that
Chris.
makes more sense.
Yep.
Well, I was thinking CVD. I'm like Craig Von Doren. That doesn't
Yeah,
make any
that has
sense.
nothing to do with it. What? Now, if she said Dwayne Howard, then I would completely
Yeah,
understand because
exactly.
he's got a man
Absolutely.
crush on Dwayne
Yeah.
Howard.
It was DH. You make perfect sense.
So other than that, I thought
listen,
that.
Hodnet.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. You know, again, it was nice to have last week off. I'm not
It
gonna lie, it
was
was
in
nice
our
to
national
celebrate.
in the National Parts Peddler show. That was #1 for the week.
That was fun. That was a good
in
show.
our absence, so that was cool.
That was fun. I still got the freaking bumper mark across my ass, though, I think, because that thing was not
You know,
comfortable, that rub rail.
I watched that, and you look.
Oh,
probably,
shut up.
You
You
want
had a
box of
chair.
tissue?
You had a chair.
Listen,
You're the one guy that actually got to sit in a chair. So don't even say
No,
anything. Just sit
there
over
was
there and
other
be quiet.
people that sat in chairs.
Yeah, not anyone that was at our table. Oh, wait, the person on the end got a
Yeah,
chair. Yeah,
see?
because we were nice to our guests and to you. We figured you were old and couldn't hack sitting on the bumper, so I didn't want to hurt you.
It's true.
Yeah.
That
see?
was actually how
No,
that
it's
kind of.
because you wanted to sit on the outside.
No, we went with, you know.
That was exactly how that conversation went too.
Yeah, I went, well, John's old and he won't be able to hack it, so we'll put him in a
Yeah,
chair.
All I got to say is, good thing for Jessica Power, I was not there.
Don't worry, I took care. I bounced up and down on that thing enough.
Trust me, those shocks would not have been in the shape they were when you left them.
Yeah.
I was the one sitting on
Yeah.
that bumper.
Did you catch any of that show, Rich?
I watched the latter half of the show.
Did you catch? I mean, basically, where I'm going with this was Jessica Power had a fan. Did you catch any of that?
I did not.
Jessica Power had a fan on the live chat through the course of the afternoon. Who every time she would reference the race car or the body or the paint scheme, they would key in something about how they liked her Canadian body, and it was
no.
it was so creepy.
So Jessica Power she's got an online creeper.
Yeah. Well,
Awesome.
earlier, it sort of set a strange bar when earlier in the
Strange bar.
Yeah, it set an oddly. It was weird, because she kept saying I needed to be careful about leaving my stuff on the table because my stuff could get yanked, and I thought that was That was a strange thing to say. Wow, nothing but crickets.
See, the creepy part was the fact that you kept telling everybody about what the person was writing on the chat.
Dude, I couldn't keep that to myself. That was crazy.
It wouldn't have been creepy if nobody knew it was on there but you.
Well, everybody else in the chat would have known it was there. Consider we had like 100 and something people listening live.
Yeah,
they all saw it.
Yeah, we got 40 people now.
She wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
When I logged in, there looked to be quite a few viewers.
Yeah, we had we've had good support. You know, and we had a good bunch of people walk by, and it was nice. You know, we had a couple interviews prearranged. Then we had just a couple. Joey Laudicer on the spot.
Oh my God!
You know, it was nice.
Joey Laudicer is hilarious.
He is funny. He is wicked funny. Yeah, him and his brother too. His brother's funny. Lee, they're both funny guys. They're entertaining. It was nice to have him, the pro stock champion, moving up to sportsman and doing some asphalt racing. That'll be
that'll be interesting to see.
That'll be fun for him. So I got my fill of asphalt racing though. I got to go to the Turkey Derby, and that was. How
about you break down that race before we get?
Yeah, I'll make it quick though for you, so that way we don't.
Wait! Before you do that,
you got the music for me?
I know that's probably what you're wanting, right?
Yeah, I do want the music.
Mike doesn't work without music.
I like it.
Kind of like his part-time job.
All right, I'll start with the.
That was really loud.
I'll go with everything else, then I'll come back to the Tour Type Modified since we're going to have our first guest will be the winner of that race. So, at the Turkey Derby, the SK or wall style modifieds, it's like your sportsman modifieds, but not a sport. It was Zane Ziner. Zane Ziner picked up the victory. In the dirt modified race, Andrew Krause held off Joey Payne. In the ATQ MRA feature, Joey Payne Jr., guest of the show, friend of the show, first ever Turkey Derby win for him in a TQ midget. So that was pretty awesome to see him pick up the win. And he set a new track record in a car that's nearly 30 years old, or over 30 years old. In the late model division, Rob Ormsby won the late model main event with a dirt late model style car. That was neat. Yeah, he beat like regular pavement late models in a dirt late model. It was awesome. After going to the rear for contact with somebody else. So it was a good weekend down there at the Turkey Derby. And in the Tour Type Modifieds, first ever career win down at Wall Stadium and in the Tour Type Modified event at Turkey Derby for Matt Hirschman, who will be our guest here momentarily. Danny Bone up from I believe it's Moore's North Carolina, finished in second. Jimmy Blewett was third. Michael Bone, his brother, hasn't raced in almost 5 years, and he ran Danny's backup car, finishing fourth. And Ken Berry was fifth. And let me tell you, that was a wild race. It was extremely entertaining. I'm not a pavement guy, as most people know, but that race, it really entertained me. There's a lot of passing and a lot of guys racing on the outside. Like Jimmy Blewett and Matt Hirschman, they ran side by side before Hirschman got the lead. And then Danny Bone and Jimmy Blewett ran the last 5 laps side by side before Danny Bone finally got by him to get to second. So it was a very, very good asphalt modified race.
Now that's the racing/bowling Bone family, right?
Yes, yeah. Parker Bone is from that family.
Parker Bone the third is the famous bowler.
Parker Bone the third has a feature win to his credit at Black Rock Speedway.
Does he really? You making that up?
No, it was a match race between him and the guy.
It was a bowling. What's his name? Doug.
Oh my gosh! He's from
Canandaigua, right?
No, Newark.
Oh, who is it? Doug Kent.
Doug Kent. Yep.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, it was a match race.
About the bowling trivia.
Look at that.
Yeah. I know Walter Ray Williams. That's it too. He's pretty good. But
what about Turkey Night Grand Prix?
Oh, you want me to give that for you? Does it even matter that Kyle Larson won it? Does it matter?
Yeah.
There you go. Kyle Larson won it.
It will once he's on the show.
What?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
What doesn't that kid win?
It's nothing. That's why it's never a surprise whenever we say his name on here. So, I'll tell you this.
They had a nice field of midgets for the Turkey Night Grand Prix.
That's good. Back
on dirt. First time it's been on dirt. The 72nd running of the Turkey Night Grand Prix on Thanksgiving night. They had it back on dirt. First time since '98. They had it at the Paris Auto Speedway and had a great field of midgets.
Nice. I was impressed with the Tour Type Modifieds at Wall. They had 26 cars take the green. So that's, end of the year, $5,000 went. Pretty good set of cars. Pretty good racing, too. Pretty entertaining, like I said. So you got your midget race. We got some pavement racing. Not done yet, though. A couple more races to go here in 2012.
Unbelievable. That there's still more to go.
It's all indoors, though, now.
That's all right.
Yeah, I don't think there's any more
you got the
outdoor shows we can get to.
The Mini Magic Mile there at DuQuoin coming up. You got the Baltimore race coming up.
Yeah, we were talking about races that count, though.
The Tulsa Shootouts coming up.
Oh, that doesn't count. That's go-karts.
That's not go-karts.
How long is it before?
What's that? What is it?
It's micros.
What's that, the week before?
There'll be about 900 of them.
900 of micros. Ugh.
Yeah.
No thanks.
It's an unbelievable event.
Yeah, they sound like bumblebees.
It's
You're
a
right.
3-day show, and I have like 900 cars between 8 classes.
All right. Well, joining us on the line now here on the 31st lap, we'd like to welcome Matt Hirschman to the show for the first time. And Matt, welcome to the 31st lap, and we appreciate you taking the time out to be here with us tonight.
Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
Well, Matt, let's get right to it. Last weekend, got that first career win at Turkey Derby. What does that mean to you?
It's a race that I've tried to win for many years. I won the SK wall-type modified race 2 years ago, so I have won there before. But for me, the Turkey Derby is the tour-type modified is kind of the headliner, and it's what I've raced pretty much the rest of the year. I only ever do maybe like 1 or 2 of the SK type races in a year. So the tour types are my specialty, and it's a big race with a lot of tradition, and I've come close to winning it many times, but come up short at the end, and is a relief to finally get a win, and hopefully now go into the race a little bit more relieved and not stressing over when you're going to win for the first time.
Let's talk about the race a little bit. It wasn't easy by any stretch of the imagination. You had to kind of work your way back up through. You got jostled back there on a restart, and then you had to work your way back to the front. Then you get to the front, you get by Jimmy Blewett on the outside, you get to the lead, and now you got to go through multiple restarts. So it wasn't an easy task.
No, it's a tough racetrack, and there is no easy wins at that place, especially at the end of the year when you have a lot of local guys with a lot of track experience, and then you bring in guys from all over that are top-notch drivers and have good equipment. It's always a good field, and it's a race that I've learned is not easy to win. And we had a real good race right from the start. We led some laps. After we pitted, my guys had a good stop again, and we came in first and out first, but it lined me up fourth on a restart, and the outside pole car did not go and took me back to, I think, eighth, and I had probably 4 or 5 cars that had pitted for new tires when I did that had all gotten ahead of me, so we lost the track position that we had. So we had to overcome that and slowly, one at a time, pick back up through and got into third and advanced to second on a restart following Jimmy when he was leading, and then did 2 restarts side by side with him, was able to get by. So to win, we had to beat the best there, and it's something we didn't walk into it. We earned it, and something we'll be proud of.
You mentioned beating Jimmy Blewett. That is not an easy task to do at Turkey Derby. That race he's won the last couple of years. He's always got a good car, and you were able to pass him on the outside. Is that just a byproduct of how good your car was, or was that a byproduct of how maybe off his car was?
I don't think he was as good as he can be there. He seemed to be off a little bit on the handling. He really had a strong car in the wall mod race, and he was leading that race, and I believe he had engine troubles. But he really seemed to have that car working. But the tour mod, he looked good early, but after he pitted for tires and they got ahead of me, even when he took the lead, I could see that he was struggling a little bit with his car, and my car was really good. So I would say it was more of him being a little off, because once I got ahead of him, he was holding up the pack behind him, and I think he did lose one position close to the end. So you kind of go in there expecting that he's the guy you have to beat, and it's no surprise that if he would have finished second to me, that's how it would have come down to the two of us. But he wasn't. I don't even think he was second best. So
I chatted with you at the Turkey Derby, and you mentioned this was basically a career year for you. You got the Turkey Derby win, and you also got that Race of Champions win at Oswego. How important was that win to your career as well?
Oh, that one was bigger than any other for me. Growing up, the Race of Champions was the race in the modified division. My memories of that race started when it was at Pocono on the inner 3/4 mile. My dad won that race in 1989, and that probably to this day could be probably, or maybe is the biggest win he ever had. Then it moved on to Flemington, and it through the years it's lost some of its luster, and but anything today, really comparing it to the heydays of the division, is not what it used to be. But it's still, from the time my driving career started, and it was my 10th attempt, and that was another race that was very similar to Turkey Derby, where I had been so close and in a position to win several times to have something happen. So that race and Turkey Derby were really the two that probably I've tried to win the longest and come up short. And to win both of those in the same year, along with all the other races we won this year, it was by far my best career year for me. And we did it, won races in for three different teams, and won almost every open, big-paying show there was for the division. And those are my favorite races. I think they're the most fun and the most entertaining to watch, because you have quite a mix of variety of talent and drivers from different areas that come together for a large purse, especially the winner's purse. And I always look forward to those the most, and we won several of those this year, from the early in the season right to the end. So I couldn't ask for a better year.
You know, we look at your tour type modifieds, pavement modified racing. What's the difference? You know, as someone that watches it when I can, you know, those of us here on the show, again, we're chatting with Matt Hirschman, winner down at Turkey Derby here last weekend at Wall Stadium, and you have your Whelen Modified Tour and your Race of Champions Asphalt Series. What's the difference between the two? I know they run different tires and things like that, but is there major differences between the cars and different rules that you guys have to follow, or are they very similar?
No, they're very similar. There's not much difference at all. There's the Whelen Modified Tour, which is mostly the Connecticut, New England area, but they do go to Bristol. They race twice a year in New Hampshire on Cup weekends. There's also a Whelen Southern Modified Tour, which races mostly in the Carolinas and Virginia area. And then you have the ROC, which is primarily New York State. Sometimes they have races down in the Pennsylvania area. And then there's the Modified Racing Series, which is mostly northern New England. But of the four series, they all have a few differences, but they're so similar that there's nothing major there. There's nothing that the casual fan would know. But they all do have a few different rules that are different. But overall, there's not much difference in the cars, engines, and the tires. There is a different brand now for ROC on American Racer instead of Hoosier. But again, nothing drastic as far as differences.
So we've talked about your win at Turkey Derby, your win at Oswego. What's the one race you haven't won yet that you gotta check off? Or is there one track that you haven't won at that you want to win at?
I mean, right now, I'm really looking forward to the inaugural event that they're going to have at Daytona for Speed Weeks. That's a NASCAR Whelen open race that they're having, non-point, that they're going to have on the backstretch at Daytona. I'm not sure what type of racing the layout is going to bring, but it's a first-time event. It's something I'm really excited about. And when they announced it last Speed Weeks, last February, I said from that point it was something we were going to do, and I'm looking forward to that. As far as some other stuff, there's still some races and some places that I'd like to win at, but I have fortunate that I have covered and won a lot of the races that have a lot of history and the good paying races that we have. So I would say there's still some races out there like the Wheeling Tour. There's a lot of history with the Spring Sizzler at Stafford. I've never won that. I just look forward to what the schedule will bring and try and hit as many of the big shows as I can. I usually do follow the Race to Champions Series 4 points. Some years I follow the Wheeling Tour for points. This past year I did not. Really up in the air beyond Speed Weeks, but since that's a big event, I'm really looking forward to that.
Now, when you go to Speed Week, you're going to run Daytona. Are you also going to run New Smyrna as well, or just Daytona?
This year we will do both because we're putting in the effort to go down there. I'd like to get in some racing at Smyrna as well. And then, like I said, we'll see how this goes as a first year for the Daytona race. And we have been to Smyrna. We went there in 2009 and 10. One regular race the first year, and then won the Richie Evans Memorial 100-lap race the second year we were there. So we're familiar with how that goes, and like I said, the Richie Evans Memorial is the big race to win down there, and fortunately we won that one as well. But we'll focus on that first race at Daytona, and then hopefully have some fun over at Smyrna and come away with a few wins.
Yeah, I know. Last year was my first time ever getting down to Smyrna, and I'm impressed with that place. I really like it. It's fast, and I think the banking makes for some good racing. I don't know what the opinion of the guys racing there is, but I really enjoyed it.
I think it's one of the best racetracks for the modified division to race on. I've seen some outstanding races as a spectator, and I've also raced in some very good races there. So I would rank it very high. There's always some questions about how the officiating is there and the tacking of the cars, and there's always been cries of cheating there through the years. But they're making some changes there with personnel, hopefully clean that up some. And regardless of any of that, the negativity that you do sometimes hear that comes along with that, I, like I said, have been a part of and have seen some excellent races there for the modifieds. And I've seen, on all different types of racetracks, these cars can put on a good show on, tight, short, quarter, third-mile racetracks, all the way up to a mile at New Hampshire, where everybody knows that that's the best race of the weekend when we race up in New Hampshire on Cup weekend. So there's all kind of tracks in between, and Smyrna is one that I'd rank very high for being an entertaining track for the modifieds.
Well, Matt, we don't want to keep you too much longer here, but we always like to give everybody that comes on the show a chance to thank anybody, thank any sponsors. If you got a website or anything like that you want to promote, this is your opportunity to do that. Again, just our way of appreciating you taking the time out of your day to help us out.
Sure thing, and I appreciate you guys again for having me on. This year, my guys did an excellent job on my team. If it were not for them for traveling and putting the time in to go to the races that we went to, none of it would be possible. Their pit stops this year were excellent, we don't have no major sponsors, but I do have some good people that back me and are big supporters of mine. The Long Island Mod Maniac, which you'll see him as part of some promotional stuff for several modified races, especially his hometown track of Riverhead when the tour goes there. He does a lot of excellent things for the division and helps a lot of racers that could use it, and he's been a supporter of mine for several years. And, from time to time throughout the year, like when we go down south for the North-South Shootout, I have a used car dealer, DMC Auto Exchange, that helps us when we go down there, and they come up to Turkey Derby every year to watch there, so I always keep the name on the car for there. And the same thing this year, the Blewett family asked me to put their name on the car and represent John at the North-South Shootout since they weren't racing. And I kept that name on the car for Turkey Derby as a way of thanking them for thinking of me and helping me out to go down there. So, like I said, throughout the year, I don't have no one major, no corporate sponsors or anything like that, but there's a lot of good people, and I'm fortunate to be in the situation I am now and race for 3 different teams, and we all won big races this year, so couldn't ask for more.
Well, Matt, again, thanks a lot for coming on. We really do appreciate it. Look forward to seeing you down there at Daytona. I'm heading down, and I know look forward to that race at Daytona, seeing the modifieds there at on the backstretch. Should be entertaining. But, hey, man, thanks again for being on the show. We appreciate it.
Sure thing. Yep, stop by and say hello.
All right, so Matt Hirschman coming off the win down at Turkey Derby. And, the most interesting part of that at the end when he was thanking all the people that he thanked, the Blewett family, I found that to be pretty awesome considering the various times that those two have had it, gotten together, we'll say, at Turkey Derby. They've beaten bumpers, so to speak, and everybody that likes asphalt modifieds know that they beat bumpers on a regular occasion, but that those two got together, at Turkey Derby in the past, of course, and now that there's a newfound respect there, and that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So great to have Matt Hirschman on. I know you're going to work right on it, move right along here, and up next will be the Statesman.
That race at Daytona is going to be cool.
Yeah, I just hope that, like he was saying, that the layout doesn't stink. Because I don't know how they're going to do it, because you're going to have, because if it's on the backstretch, isn't the backstretch got a little
transition?
It's got a little bank, so you're going to go in and be flat.
Yeah.
And then because they're going to race around the infield
Because when
somehow.
you come off, if they use the backstretch, the racetrack as part of the track for the modifieds, there will be, you would think there would be a transition from the apron to the...
Right, there's going to be a little dip or something going into the turn, right? You would
think there'd be some sort of transition going on to the racetrack from the apron, but
right.
I don't know.
I assume the racing, though...
Maybe on that part of the racetrack there isn't. Maybe it's all level.
Maybe it's all level, yeah, you don't know.
You would hope
know.
so.
I've never walked out on Daytona, so I don't know.
Me neither.
Yeah, so I've been to the track itself, but I've never been over to the backstretch.
I've been there.
I'm looking forward to that because
years ago.
I had fun last year because I didn't just do Volusia. Everybody from our area usually just does Volusia, which I understand that their modifieds are there.
Or East Bay if they're a late
right, if you're late model.
fan
And that's
or
what you go see. I had fun because Smyrna, it was only about a half-hour trip from Smyrna back up to Volusia. So Smyrna, I would go down there and watch all the racing there and then leave Smyrna and hustle up and get up and watch the features for the modifieds and the late models.
Right.
And I like that just because I count it as 2 races on that day. I don't know if you would count it as that, but...
Well, of course it is.
2 features. I'm getting 2 different tracks, 2 different feature
tracks
events.
is
right?
2 races.
Yeah, so I count it as 2, but I just like being able to do all those different things. And with Daytona, you'll be able to go to Daytona during the day because they're going to race during the daytime. And then that night, I'll be able to go to Volusia or Smyrna or wherever. I'm hoping they have the sprint cars again at Volusia or at Smyrna because those were freaking awesome. Those TBR, Tampa Bay Racing Association, TBRA, 360 sprints on the pavement. Holy crap, those were awesome.
I know one thing's for sure with that racetrack at Daytona on the backstretch is that Guy Smith will be able to add another
yes,
track to
he
his
will.
resume.
Does that count as a track on your resume?
I guess it's a track.
Who was I talking to? We were debating this between a race chaser and a track chaser. There is a difference.
Oh yeah,
well,
definitely.
yeah. I mean,
Huge
no
difference.
question.
Because with
him, yes, there is a
because
difference.
you read what he does. He goes to races and watches a couple races, and then leaves.
Yeah,
and counts the track. Whereas I got to see a feature for it to count for me as a race.
Yeah, me too.
Right.
I've been.
There's a
handful of tracks.
The only race I haven't
seen a race.
Right. This is the only thing I counted this year as a race that I don't know because it's qualifying. Technically, would be the duels at Daytona, the 150s, because they're technically qualifying.
They're races, though.
But they're races,
it's
right?
A race.
How many races did you count that as?
That's
one race.
You counted that as
well, I was
race?
arguing. I could count it. Could I count it as 2 since it's 2 separate? But I always look at it because it's
one event.
It's one event. That's right. That's how I do it. Like if you started counting features, man, you could start 5 a night.
You could see 5 a night, right? You could go to a Fonda
I
on
count
a weekend
that. Like so, I did the one day in Florida that I did Daytona. I did Daytona, and then I did Bubba Raceway Park, and I stopped at Volusia on the way back through. So that would technically be 3 races in one day.
Right, 3 different racetracks.
Yeah.
3 A-mains.
A-mains in one night, yeah.
At 3 different racetracks.
Yeah, so my race count right now, I think it's 109, I think is where I'm at. I hit 109. So I knew I was right around 100, and I lost 15 or 20 to rain. And then there was like 5 or 8 that I could have went to that I just
Yeah,
I was
when I
burned
look
out.
back at the racetracks that I've been to over my lifetime, I don't count the ones that I've been to and didn't see a race.
Now, Eldora.
Because there are tracks that I've been to that have not seen a race. This year, we
We went to freaking Lima Land. That place looked awesome.
We got tornadoed out.
I know, that place looked awesome, didn't it?
I can't count that.
I know, we can't count it.
We
You
didn't even
can't
see a
count
car
it.
on the track.
Tornado now.
It
Even
did,
though we
seriously,
got-
man.
Yeah,
I
we
know
did.
you did.
The sirens are going off in the background. He's crying in the car.
He's crying in the car.
He was freaking out. I got video of him freaking out.
That's funny.
We had a good time, though.
I was not crying.
Close. This is
He
close to
wasn't-
crying as you can
scared?
get.
I
He
will
wasn't
not be
crying.
afraid to admit.
I
that
go to him. I go, I
was
just want to
scared.
see a
It was-
tornado. He's like, I
it
do
was
not want to see a tornado.
Very nerve wracking.
The whole car's rocking. It was awesome.
I'm sorry. I've never heard a tornado siren before.
It was-
it's
Mike,
very eerie.
Mike.
What?
Loose Lugnut, who
Oh,
has
boy.
been running his mouth all night long in
Sweet.
the chat,
Oh, Jesus.
Sweet.
wanted to know if you and John get paid to go to the races. And if you don't, why in the world do you brag about how many races you've been to? Go. Have at 'em.
Okay. Well, first off, I get paid to go to about half the races I go to, or 3/4 of the races. I don't know because I
I've never
work.
been paid to go to a race.
Yeah, I work at various things, but I think as a true race fan, your race count means something in the racing world. You know, I've talked to Bob Miller, talked to
A
various
lot
people.
of race fans do that.
Yeah, they keep track of how many races they go to because it's like a badge of honor. I did 109 races this year. You did 75 or whatever. It's like it's something you're proud of.
I counted it once in 2010. I counted.
Yeah, my
The only
most
time I've ever done.
I did 130 something or 140 something somewhere in there in 2004,
That
2003.
was that year that we were everywhere together.
Yeah, I went to like every race under the sun. So
We're
I mean,
all over
I've
the
had
place.
more than this year, but I think it's a badge of honor among race fans. That's me personally. But
How about Jerry Higbie? How many
Yeah.
races has he done?
and yeah, well, welcome to the show right now, driver, owner of Hig Fabrications and the Orange County Fair Speedway champion, Jerry Higbie. Jerry, how we doing tonight?
Good. Thanks for having me on, you guys.
Hey, no problem. And how many races did you do this year, Jerry? Since we're on the race count kick here for a second.
No, I honestly didn't count. I know that I raced weekly Friday, weekly Saturday, and then I hit maybe another 10, maybe 11 shows. So I probably went to about, I'm going to guess I probably saw about 50 shows this year.
That's not too bad.
Yeah.
That's not too bad of a
Yeah,
number
it's
if
not
you're
bad at
racing
all.
them. If you're
Right.
racing 50 shows, that's
Well,
pretty
when
impressive.
I have some time, I like to go take in some other stuff. So try to go to as many races as I can when I have time. So
Yeah.
I'm as big a race fan as I am a racer. You know, I'm a race fan first.
Well, Jerry, we know this year, in the last couple of years, actually, things have been changing for you. You know, you own Hig Fabrications. You started out just building bodies, bumpers, Nerf bars, those things, and now you're building your own chassis. How is that progression coming along for you?
Well, you know, it's funny. I built my first car 2 years ago, and, you know, with the intention to just build one for myself, and if it worked out good, I'd build myself another one, and we have all the tools, equipment, everything to do it. And I got halfway done building the first one, and Jackie Brown, a buddy of mine, came down, and he says, you know what? He says, I want something different. Why don't you build me one? And I said, well, I don't know if I want to do it or not, but what the heck. So one became two, and then, you know, we had a fair amount of success, and then two became four, and then four became eight, and the other night we just finished our 20th car, so we're starting to move along. We have 11 orders for other ones, and we're definitely progressing. You know, making the shop a little bit bigger as far as employees and things like that to try to keep up with it. And I'm not sure where it's going right now, but it's definitely growing.
Was it a big transition for you to be able to move into building the race cars from what you were doing before, or is it just basically part of the whole process?
As far as the workload goes, and as far as what I was doing, you know, I mean, bending steel and building bodies is what we do. It was a lot of work to create our own product and do something that was a little different, and build a body that was unique to us and things like that. And you know, that part of it was a ton of work, but not a lot different than what we're used to. The part that's a lot different for me is bouncing so many ideas and things like that off of so many different racers that have our cars now. You know, this year I think we had, throughout the course of the year, we had about, I think, 7 or 8 of them that raced basically weekly. And, you know, everybody had different issues and different problems. They were racing at different tracks. And, you know, you could really help some guys with things that you say and things that you do, and other guys you just couldn't help them at all. And, you know, that makes it tough.
Are you at OTB?
Yep. But it was a learning experience.
Yeah, you know, one of the drivers up here that has one of your cars. I know Steve Payne got a car, and you had the chance to come up, and we're going to race it in that. And how different is it to help guys that say that race up here in Central New York, as per se guys that race down at Accord in Middletown?
Well, you know, Accord and Middletown, I kind of know like the back of my hand, and when guys have trouble, they have issues, I can kind of open my own setup book up and say, here, this is what I'm doing, and generally it'll help them. And, you know, a couple of the guys that have sportsman cars and things like that,
a lot of the help that they need is a lot of driver technique and things like that, and I have a lot of experience with stuff like that. So I'm able to help them with their car as well as driving it and handling-wise, what to expect and what to look for. As far as the upstate tracks go, in some of the cases I'm in uncharted territories and uncharted waters, but other of the cases, it's a lot of basic knowledge and common knowledge. And, Steve Payne and I kind of got together and built a car for him that was unique to him, and something that's a little bit different than what I've been running. So I've been kind of looking to him for more of the answers with his car, and he seemed to like it at Canandaigua. So that's the most important thing. And now we just built him a second car, and it's our basic design of exactly what I'm running at Middletown and what the other guys are running. So I'll be able to help him, I think, a little bit more with that car. So we'll see how it goes.
Now, I know you had a pretty fine season down at the Orange County Fair Speedway as well, picking up another track championship. What's that mean to you and your team?
Well, you know what? This was our best track championship by far. It was our third one in 4 years, and having it in the '97 car, number one, is terrific for us, and then having it in a car that we built ourselves is priceless to us. It's I don't know,
especially
how many
in this day and age.
Done, recently, people more or less are just buying them and racing them. So it was big for us to go out and to build that car, and then to go out and race it, and then to go out and win a championship and a whole bunch of races along the way. So it was really important to us, and it really means a lot to us.
Yeah, I know you had a pretty good battle down there. You and Tommy Meyer. Seems to be that you are the guys to beat down there now. You've been incredible, like you said, the last few years, and Tommy Meyer's really stepped up his program, and it seems like it's always comes down to you two guys in the last few weeks.
Yeah, it's funny how that goes. I mean, the year before we lost the points to Tommy by 2 points, and then this year it came down to almost the last night also. So it's funny. One of us seems like we either he hits the setup and I have some bad luck, or I hit the setup and he has some bad luck. It doesn't seem like it never really happens at the same time. We never really battle for wins together. It just seems like our timing is 180 degrees off to what his is. When he's winning races, we're breaking down, and when we're winning races, he's breaking down. It's just kind of funny. At the end of the year, we end up within a few points of each other every year. But Tommy's a hard-nosed competitor, and he's got good equipment, and he's a great guy to race with. So I'm proud to race down to the wire with him every year.
We got a question coming in on the live chat. Was wondering if you could talk a little bit about the tire selection at Black Rock. You looked real dominant early, and wondered if the tire selection was too soft.
Well, it's funny. We ran. We were going to run softer on the right rear than we ended up running. And then right before we went out, we put a hard tire on the right rear, and we left a super soft left rear tire on. And we basically, when the brown groove went away on the bottom, that right rear tire, we just burned it right off, because I think it was something to do more with the big split that we had in the back. From what I understand, a lot of guys don't run what we ran. And after the race, it was evident when I looked around that we were a little bit different than everybody else. But it was one of those things that, Steve Payne hadn't been there since, I think, 2007. I hadn't been there, I think, since about 1999. I had no idea. We had a lot of people telling us and stuff like that, and we didn't quite know what to do. And then we picked the pole, and I think we all got a little nervous, and we knew we had a fast car, and we just kind of messed up a little bit. But it was what it was. It was a good showing for us. All in all, the car went really, really well. And I think if we had changed our tires and went with a little different strategy, we would have certainly ran in the top three.
What's it going to take to see up here in Central New York more? I know you've come up and run Utica Rome a few times. You've ran Fonda, and now you've come up to Black Rock. Now that you're building chassis and things like that, are we going to see you more up here so you can expand that notebook a little bit?
Well, this year I'm going to drive the New York Truck Parts 55 for Gary Mann up to Ackworth Speedway. Right? So that's going to free up a lot of time for me to possibly be able to run a little bit more. I know this year we're building another new car for ourselves, another new car for the 55 guys. And we're going to have more cars this year than we've ever had. And I think it's going to come down to time and see how much time we have. We'd certainly like to get up and get out on the road a little bit more. And I'd like to build a few more cars for guys that are near Fonda, that guys that are near Lebanon Valley, guys that are upstate. I want to get some more cars out there. I've been talking to a few guys up at Can-Am, a couple guys at Woodhull. I got a car that's going to run at Brockville this year, actually, in Canada. Wow. And it's going to be neat. I was talking to a guy, actually a good runner, at Utica Rome, that's possibly going to have one of our cars. So it's going to be exciting, and no matter what, whether I bring a car and I race these tracks, I want to certainly get to these tracks to try to be with my guys that are running our cars. So that's going to be the most important thing. I would if it was up to me, I would race every night of the week.
Yeah, obviously time plays into that a huge portion of that.
Utica Rome is absolutely one of my favorite tracks, but on a Sunday night, the place is almost 4 hours away from us.
Oh yeah.
After racing Friday and Saturday, you go up there on Sunday and get home at 2, 3, 4 in the morning. It feels like you're straight up hungover when you go to work on Monday. It's tough, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, ideally, I'd like to run there all the time, but we'll see how it goes.
Now, you mentioned you're going Accord with Gary Mann's car. What's it going to take to knock Bichetti off there? He had a dominant car there this past season.
Well, you know what? Bichetti has been struggling like the last 4 or 5 years up there, and this year he got a new car, and I think, I'm convinced that if you ask Andy, he's not sure why his car was so fast. He just hit on something that was good, and you know what? The rest of the field was really mediocre at best. I mean, myself, Danny Creedon, Hetzler, anybody that came up there, we were all just mediocre, and Bichetti was just good. And it just, I don't know, he just found something. And who knows if he's going to be able to carry that into this year. I mean, I'm going to build something for myself and the 55 guys, the New York Truck Parts team, that's going to be a little bit more orientated for short track. And that may make a difference for us this year. So we'll see. We'll see what happens this year. And I got a feeling we're going to be awful good with what we got. Did
you like the format up there with the draw and how all that worked out this year?
Well, you know what? I liked it. I like anything that a track does. To me, it's their sandbox, and they make the rules, and let's go play in it. But I thought it was fair to everyone. They had nights where they did a draw on the way in, and it was straight up heads up. And then the fast guys were running the heats, and then the fast guys would run away in the features. So they said, okay, let's not do that. Let's try redrawing. So then they redrew. So then they tried an invert. They did an invert. So they did it a whole bunch of different ways. And I applaud Gary Palmer and Accord Speedway for trying something different, trying to, reward guys from the heat races, because the car count was down a hair from what it had been. We raced a lot of the year with less than 20 cars. And you know what? It just doesn't matter what your handicap is when you don't have enough cars to put out there. And, I think he did what he could do to get the racing as good as it can get. So I wasn't against any of the handicapping at all.
Were you happy when the sail panels came back?
You know what? I was happy for the sail panels, because the track really, most all the year, was a little slicker, a little harder to get a hold of than it had ever been. And the racing wasn't as good as it had been. The passing just wasn't quite as good. And as soon as he went to the sail panels, you know what? It picked us up a few tenths. Not as much as you would think, but it made the handling in the corners a little bit better. And it actually opened the track up in the corners to a couple more lanes of racing. So I think, the last 3 or 4 races we ran with the sail panels, it just made the racing just a hair better.
So, yeah, I like that answer.
Everybody raced without them. Everybody raced with them. It is what it is. It wouldn't matter if we took them off.
Yeah, I love sail panels, so I always have to ask the sail panel question.
I don't mind the sail panels.
I thought the racing was better with them. And I like the fact that you can put more sponsorship space up there, and I like the fact that you can tell the modified from the sportsman with the high sail panels. And, there's goods and bads about it. When you're racing on the track with the high sail panels, it's a little harder to see through that car in front of you.
Right.
Kind of like racing behind a billboard, so it's a little easier to get wrecked. But I like them. I like the side bike. I like fast cars, so it makes them a little faster. So I'm all for it.
So when do you kick off 2013? Are you Florida bound, or are you still up in the air?
We're building a brand new car for next year for a big block, and it's going to basically be our backup car for Middletown. And we're talking right now. Once RLC comes out with their schedule, Dirk comes out with their schedule, we're going to probably, most certainly, if they have that early race at Ceilings Grove, we're going to go to that and probably run the New York Truck Parts small block there.
Nice.
So we'll run both races there if they have both races. And, one of the races early in March, I'd like to get up to the Ice Jam. Maybe, if that's an early show in March or something like that. But we'll see if time allows it, stuff like that. And then from there, I'm sure we'll go into the regular season of Accord Middletown, the grind that's going to present itself there.
Jerry, it's John Baumus here. My wife and I had the pleasure of meeting you a few years ago at the. We were staying at the Embassy Suites in Tulsa. You were out there for your first year.
Oh, Embassy Suites
for the Chili Bowl.
Yep. Best experience of my life.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that, because I talked to you in the lobby. We were eating breakfast the one morning, and when we met you, and you seemed to be having a pretty cool experience. And I know that was your first year out there. The second year obviously didn't go as planned. Kind of a two-part question, if you're ever going to go back out there. And that second year, we've had Kyle Larson on the show a few weeks ago, and he told the story to our listeners about what happened. You had gotten sick, and he had replaced you. I was wondering what you think about this kid. He's setting the world on fire now.
I tell you what, Kyle Larson is awesome. He is on the money everywhere he's going. And you know what? That was the only thing. The first year, let me just give it back. The first year we went to the Chili Bowl, I drove for Corey Tucker.
Yep.
Teammates Jason Myers and Randy Hannigan had a great time. Won a heat, almost got in the A main on my qualifying night, just missed it. Ended up in the D main, ran really well in that, and just missed transfer into the C. And we thought it was a great experience. And we knew the next year we were going to run a lot better. So we went the next year, and we hot lapped on our hot lap night. We were real fast. Everything was great. And then when my race night came along, I got so sick. There was some kind of a stomach epidemic that came up. There was people getting taken away by ambulance to the hospital.
Yep.
And I got this stomach thing, and I've never missed a race for being sick in my life. If you could have put $1 million 10 feet away from me, and I couldn't have crawled to it.
Yep.
I mean, I was that sick. I've never in my life been that sick.
Man.
The Chili Bowl has been the most important race of my life, and I never thought I'd have a chance to race it. And it was the biggest letdown of my life that I wasn't able to run that night. I got to the track, and that's as far as I could go. And they were looking for a driver. They tried to get Billy's boat to put in it. They tried to get a couple other guys to put it in. And Kevin Swindell came over, just parked 2 over. He says, "Listen, I got this kid.
Yep.
He's a buddy of mine. Man, he's going to be good. Let's put him in it, And I wasn't even there, but from what I understand, they put wheel foamies and everything else in there. He's about half the size I am. And they stuck him in it, and he did a tremendous job. And I got to know him after that because that was the qualifying night. Then I went back for Saturday night and got to know him and hang around him. And he was a great kid. And I tell you what, he ran the heck out of that car, and then he ended up keeping that ride. Which for me, you know what, I'm not a midget racer. I'm a Northeastern dirt racer. And to me, that opened up something for him to be shown and to put a spotlight on him. And I got sick for that reason, for him to kind of get a light shined on him. And he is a tremendous racer. And, he had thanked me. The next year he got in the A main and he was on speed. And he thanked me for it and everything. And you know what? I felt good for him for that. So one of my biggest tragedies in racing ended up being something so good for somebody else that I was okay with it. But
he did. He got everybody's attention that week. I know that.
I'd love to have the opportunity to go back. And I'm sure in a couple of years I'm going to work toward it and, see what happens. Corey Tucker still owns some of the best midgets out there. I mean, he's got Brian Dawson that runs them, and he's got some great guys. So, they're definitely good cars, and I've been pretty appreciative that some of those doors opened up for me.
Yeah, Corey Tucker, for those who don't know, is a crew member on the Miller Lite Dodge that just won the title.
Yes, we've established that.
And he is a he owns some midgets. He's partnered now. He used to own them himself. He's partnered now with Brian Clausen. Mm-hmm. They have a whole team together. And how long have you known Corey? Because Corey grew up he went as a crew member way back years ago at Accord, I believe, right?
Corey Tucker grew up working on the Smith Brothers 74s, and then he was working on Rich Ricky's 55 cars, and then he moved down south when we were right out of high school, and got a job with Penske, and he's been there ever since.
Yeah.
And one day I was just going through a shop tour at Penske, and I ran into him it must be 15 years ago, and he said, "Oh, what are you doing here?" And we just hit it off again. I hadn't seen him since we were teenagers, and then 10 years after that, I'm at the Chili Bowl, and I see him there, and I said, "Hey, what are you doing here?" He goes, "Oh, I own this midget." I said, "Oh, no kidding." He goes, "Yeah, me and Ryan Newman were best friends, and I'm his car chief, and blah, blah, blah." And that was when Newman was running Penske. And I said, "Wow, that's amazing." I said, "This is a race I've always wanted to run." He goes, "Oh, yeah, well, next year, let's talk about it." So the following year, I was sitting in this midget, and I couldn't believe it. So it's funny how things happen, and, I grew up knowing him, and someday I'm going to do something for him, and I don't know what it could ever be, but it'll be something nice.
Nice.
Awesome.
Well, I hope you make it back to the Chili Bowl one day.
I hope so, too. Yep.
Well, Jerry, we don't want to keep you too long. We do appreciate you coming on the show, and thanks for taking the time out to chat with us. And as always, we'd like to give everybody a chance to thank all their sponsors, thank any people they want to thank before we let you go.
Well, first of all, thank you guys for having me on. I wish you guys were where I am right now. I'm down in Orlando at the PRI show.
Thanks for rubbing it in, man. Thanks for rubbing it in.
Checking out all the new stuff and the exhibits and seeing all the people in the sites, and it's amazing. And you know what? My team, I have probably 100 people that help me. And, New York Truck Parts and Gary Mann, they took a nice chance on me this year. And he's been behind me 100%. And all my sponsors that have been with me forever, Mr. Tate's Carpet Service, Hutchings Insurance Agency, Precision Engine, who does our engines and just does a tremendous job for us. And, our own company that we own, HigFab, and all the guys that work for us. And, everybody, just our crew, our families, everybody puts so much into it. I'm thankful to have all of them.
Well, man, thanks a lot, and best of luck to you. We hope to see you at a track real soon here. I know it's winter, but we're getting closer to racing season.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, have a good one.
Thanks a lot, Jerry.
You too, buddy.
Yeah, just friends with Ryan Newman.
That was awesome. Oh, yeah, Ryan Newman. Yeah, that was neat.
Yeah. Corey Tucker, I believe, grew up in Wallkill.
All right, so that's the next interview we're going to work on, right? We're going.
Yeah.
It's interesting how everybody in racing usually there's some interconnection there. There's always some way that somebody knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that knows this guy, or you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but that wasn't 7 degrees of separation.
no, that was like 1 degree of separation. Yeah, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. And it's good. You know, I'm glad to see. I remember when Jerry first started out just building bodies. I mean, that's when I was living in Middletown. I was going to Middletown every week, and you know, I'm glad to see that it's going well for him, and that he's building cars now, and that seems to be successful.
He made a big step this year getting Steve Payne in one of his cars.
Yeah, I mean that.
Because Steve Payne is
I was
name in
I was
our
surprised
sport.
to hear him say somebody at Brockville. That's pretty neat, north of the border.
Yeah.
Look out, big no. You know, but no, nice to see him doing well, and you know, get another Orange County championship. You know, I always enjoyed chatting with him when I worked down at Middletown and went there weekly. Him, Tommy Meyer's gang was another one I always stopped over. They always had food. That's why, you know, Tommy Meyer's gang. I always made sure I made a stop there. They did, dude.
Of course.
Listen, one of the best parts about Middletown is when you're walking around the pits, you're just hanging out with everybody. Almost everybody's got food. Everybody hangs out afterwards. You know, in this day and age, there's so many people that just load up and leave when the races are over.
John.
Middletown was always where everybody just hangs out. Like, everybody just hung out afterwards. Like, you could just go down there and talk and BS all night. It was awesome. So it's so much fun. And I think that was one of my favorite parts about that. And, of course, the 31st lap is fun after the races, too. You know, you go in the pits, hang out till midnight, then you go over there and hang out. And
Which 31st lap?
Yeah, the 31st lap. The original 31st lap. You know, so, you know, that I loved, you know, we always joke around about how much I love Middletown. Well, that's part of the reason why I love Middletown as much as I do, just because all the fun I used to have down there.
Yeah, but you notice the problem with what you're saying? I
What's
understand what you're saying. I do.
No,
I get
it has nothing to do with the racing.
Yeah. You didn't mention anything about the racing. That's the sad
Eastern
part.
States is awesome.
It sucks.
It's the best big block pit stop race of the year. Fine, you're not going to tell me Syracuse is better, so obviously I'm right.
I like how you love.
Syracuse isn't better. That makes you right.
Yeah, because I said it's the best
He
pit stop
qualified
race of the year.
best big block pit
stop race of the year. It is. What else is there compared to? Nothing. But Syracuse.
Well, there's only two of them.
And
now.
Syracuse isn't as good. What are you going to tell me? Lebanon Valley is better? No.
There is no Lebanon Valley 2.
There used to be, and it still wasn't better because it's Eastern States and it is awesome.
What about when Fonda had a pit stop race?
Eastern States. It's tradition.
Fonda used to have a pit stop.
Yeah, I don't mind Fonda. And I like McDonald's too. I liked it, but I still like Eastern States, and I think it's because Pit Road is right in front of you, and that always made watching the pit stops just made it fun.
Pit Road is right in front of you.
Yeah, the cars come right by you as you're sitting in the stands. It's awesome.
Well, let's hope it's not behind you.
Yeah,
no, but Syracuse is like 9 miles away. Lebanon Valley is. Listen, we're done talking about this now because I'm just going to start yelling at you, and we have another guest on the show here, so don't mind us, Matt. We like to have a good time here. we like to get going back and forth and arguing and debating here, obviously. But
want to do the drop now, or we'll do it after?
You want to do it? You go ahead.
We can do the drop. This is the 31st lap. We go live to tape every Thursday night, and the show's up almost immediately after. So be sure to check us out. If you don't keep the late hours, be sure to visit FingerLakes1.com on Friday, or visit podcast.fingerlakes1.com. There's all sorts of stuff available up there in terms of local content. The Saw starring Tony Sometimes, a musical viral spiral that's coming up on Sunday. Chewed Gum, the new show, Lake to Lake Girls, Tech Talk Live, Finger Lakes Today, Upstate Hoops, which follows us every Thursday night, November through March. If you want to see the show as it happens, visit FingerLakes1.tv. Look up the 31st Lap. For all the show info and connections, visit www.31stlap.com. Joining us on the line, Brett Hearn's new protege, Matt Pappa. Matt, welcome to the show.
You know?
Whoa, well, there we go. Did we get you on the landline?
Yep.
All right.
My house phone number.
Sounds like we won't give it out to everybody. There's somebody yelling in live chat already. There's a war starting.
Oh,
How
boy.
about that? I gotta make sure I keep an eye on that. Matt, welcome to the show. Talked a little bit with Rolf earlier this week and about what's been going on. Tell us a little bit about what's going on with your racing career for 2013 as basically one of the Brett Hearn Racing development drivers.
Yeah, it's definitely an opportunity of a lifetime race with Brett Hearn and look up to him as a mentor, being with him at the track and all that. But it's definitely a big change for our family. We've been running asphalt on the Legend Car division, and we ran dirt back in go-karts, but, it's a big step to go from a dirt or a go-kart to a dirt car, so I'm looking forward to it, though.
It is a great opportunity. I mean, talk a little bit about how this whole program came together. I mean, was it just a case of Brett Hearn saw what you were doing? Was it something, was there somebody in between that helped get you two in touch with one another so that you could drive the number 20 junior in 2013? What was?
Yeah, actually, our buddy Rolf Schnurr, he went to the Summer Shootout Series where I was actually running down in Charlotte Motor Speedway on the quarter mile in the Legends Division, and he saw me race, and he liked the way I raced, and he respected how I raced other drivers, and he brought it up to Brett's attention, and Brett, he agreed, and he started following me on mattpappa.com and all Facebook and stuff like that, and he took a step, and now we're where we are right now, so can't complain.
Are you excited about transitioning back to dirt? I know you mentioned you have some kart experience, you're in dirt. I know you had some championships on dirt. On asphalt, and then this year, past Legends champion as well this past year. Are you excited to be back on the dirt? And considering again that you're driving with Brett Hearn makes it that much better. But are you excited to race dirt again?
Yeah, I'm actually really excited. I used to love dirt on go-karts. I ran the Pennsylvania Dirt Karting Series, and we won a few championships there. But we just got out of go-karts and then just went to the Legend cars just because you're running against NASCAR drivers and stuff down at Charlotte, North Carolina, and you're racing against the best of the best. So we started running Legend cars, but I'm really excited to get into the dirt cars, actually. Definitely love new things, and it's going to be a learning experience, that's for sure.
What's the goal first year out in the dirt sportsman division? What is the goal? Win races, championships, or is it you think it's going to be that much bigger of a learning curve?
I just hope that this year, I go out there and I learn a little bit each time, learn the new lines, and learn the fact that lines do change, and there's sometimes you have to run the high line, sometimes you have to run the low line. There's really no set line, so that's one of the big things that I feel like it's gonna teach me, and just a body roll and stuff like that. But it's really little things, and I think Lebanon Valley is going to be a good track to race with people and learn how to run against people on dirt, running too wide.
What's the goal in your career? You came from kart racing, you raced pavement with the Legends cars. Now you're switching to the dirt cars.
Yeah.
What's your ultimate goal? Where do you see yourself going, or where would you like to go?
I really have no destination. I just like racing cars. I mean, anything with four wheels you put me in, I'll love to race it. I mean, there's people who want to go to NASCAR. There's people who want to go to sprint cars, World of Outlaws, and stuff like that. But if someone gave me a ride in a World of Outlaw car, I'd be the one who'd be there testing every day just to get to the point where I can race a World of Outlaw car, or whether it's NASCAR or the World of Outlaw cars. I definitely just want to see where racing takes me and enjoy every bit of it. So that's my goal as a lifetime.
All right. You know who Matt sounds like on the phone?
Who?
Brett Dale.
A little bit, yeah.
A lot like Brett. Sounds just like him.
Yeah. Well, good friend of ours. That's why it's ironic that we're chatting with you here. But, Matt, is it, you ran the Legend cars and you were successful in that. Are you going to run?
54 wins.
Yeah, it's impressive. I know.
54 wins last year.
Yeah. Are you going to stay in the Legends as well and run both, or are you just going to concentrate on the dirt effort?
We're going to put all our efforts towards the dirt. We sold our Legend cars, so I'm just trying to get a clean slate for the dirt cars and just focus on dirt cars 100%, and hopefully that makes the learning curve shorter. And working with Brett Hearn, that's going to shorten it too. So, I mean, everything's going for me.
It probably will.
Yeah,
yes.
that's if you're going to pick somebody to run for or run with, Brett Hearn's probably the best guy to get.
Dirt modifieds.
Yeah,
in our world, absolutely,
yeah.
You couldn't pick anybody better.
When you look at Brett Hearn only had to show up at one of the two races that he missed and sign in. He didn't even have to bring a car. He just had to sign in and get show up points, and he probably would have won the title.
Yeah,
it would have changed the complexion that much. I mean, he's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, John, do you have something?
Yeah, Matt, I wanted to ask you about the...
John, Matt wants to know when you're going to run the Chili Bowl.
The Summer Shootout Series. Tell me a little bit about that experience. It's a 10-week series that they run during the summertime at Charlotte Motor Speedway on the front stretch. They got the little track for the Legends and Bandoleros and such.
Yeah.
Did you run just strictly Legends? Did you start out in Bandoleros and move up, or what was your deal there?
The only two cars I ran were go-karts and Legend cars. We went straight from go-karts straight to Legend cars, and then from Legend cars to now dirt cars. So down at the shootout, they run Bandoleros there and the Legend cars 10 weeks during the summer. It's called the Summer Shootout Series. and that's on the quarter-mile track. It goes down the front stretch and then makes a U down backwards down pit road and then back onto the front stretch of Charlotte. But that track definitely taught you a lot, and I enjoyed racing there. And like I said, I'd run with David Rake and other NASCAR drivers, so you definitely can't complain about that.
Yeah, a lot of guys that have come out of that series. Darrell Wallace, I think Brett Moffitt, Corey LaJoy.
I actually raced with him. Yep. I raced with Darrell.
Yep.
Yeah, he was in a big wreck at the Big Money 100, and I raced him in the Big Money 100, and there was only 36 cars who qualified into there, and there was like 120 cars trying to qualify into that race, and I made it. So that was.
Were you in the race, the $1 million race, the year before?
No, actually, that year I started racing, so I never got to race the Big Money 100 or the Legends Million.
Yeah.
I only ran the 2 Big Money 100, then I made it both times.
Right.
You know, you also raced a couple of tracks here in New York, you know, places that some of us don't get to go to. Bethel Motor Speedway, I've been to there. I've never seen a race there. And then I know you raced at Chemung as well. What are those tracks like for the Legends cars?
Chemung's actually a really cool track. They a year ago, I think, they took the inside wall, and moved it down closer, so they, like, shortened the track a little bit. But before that, they had rumble strips. So right now you're running through rumble strips down into the apex of the corner and then off. You're just driving up a hill pretty much. It's a really cool track, but that track definitely taught me a lot. And Bethel, we actually won the track championship there for 2011, and we ran there almost every week, and we still had a good time going there. And I think I got 13 wins that season there, so it was a good season at Bethel. I enjoy that track.
Now, we noticed in the press release it said some big money shows or big shows at the end of the year.
Yeah, the end of the year.
Yeah, what places do you foresee yourself going, or what places do you hope that you get the chance to race at?
I definitely would like to run Syracuse. That track looks really cool. I've been watching a bunch of GoPro videos and stuff like that online. But Syracuse would definitely be a track I'd like to race, and Eastern States would be another one. But as far as the few money races here and there, I don't really know. I don't have really a destination, but anything I could really race, anywhere I can race, that's where I'd like to race.
So what's been the hardest thing so far? I'm sure at this point you're going to start working on cars and working on things like that. What do you think is going to be the hardest adjustment for you? Is it just going to be the transition from the dirt? I mean, like I said, we know you ran the go-karts on the dirt, but it'll be different. Or is there going to be something else that'll be more difficult? You know, the setup or with that, or is that where Brett's going to come in?
Yeah, that's definitely where Brett's going to come in. And as of now, really, right now we'd be down south running. We run 24/7, 365 days a year, pretty much. Like every single weekend, we're going. And like, if we're not up here in New York, we're down south. If we're not in Connecticut, we're in Massachusetts. Mm-hmm. And we're just going every single weekend, and it's going to be a different experience. Every running at Lebanon Valley, that's 10 miles down the road, you know, and there's less traveling, less stuff like that, and I'm just looking forward to that. But that's definitely going to be something that's different. And there's an off season where legend cars you ran all winter down in North Carolina, so that's definitely different.
I might have to take a road trip to North Carolina so I can see some racing here in the wintertime.
I'd love to go to one of those summer shootout races. Yeah. They don't show them on Speed anymore. They used to be on Speed.
Yeah, they used to
weekend.
show those. Yeah,
in the wintertime they would show them.
Yeah,
it was nice to watch, but they don't. The last couple of years they haven't done it.
Well, Matt, we don't want to keep you too long here. We do appreciate you taking time out of your day to come on and chat with us here on the 31st lap. Any sponsors or anybody like that you got to thank, or a website, Twitter, Facebook, any of those pages you want to let people know about where they can follow you and see how you're doing in the sports when you get to Lebanon Valley this year?
Yeah, pretty much every social media I have a Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. My Facebook's Matt Pappa Racing. You can like that page, and I have a personal Facebook myself. I have a Twitter, Matt Pappa Racing. YouTube is all Matt Pappa Racing, and I got a Flickr for photos that uploads straight to my website. If you want to check my website out, it's mattpappa.com. But other than that, I just want to thank my mom and my dad and Brett Hearn. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be racing where I am now. So I definitely want to thank them and Karsh Machine Works and everyone who helped me get here. I couldn't do it without them.
Well, Matt, we do want to say thanks again for coming on. We look forward to catching up with you at some point.
You'll definitely be on here again before too long. We'll be talking more as the off season develops. It'll be interesting to see how this off season develops, and what else comes up in terms of opportunities as we move towards February and some racing down south, and then within 6 to 8 weeks after that, we're racing up here.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Matt, we'll let you go, man. Thanks again. Have a good night.
Yeah, good luck, man.
Yeah, have a good one.
Appreciate it, Matt.
All right, so Matt Pappa, Brett Hearn Racing Development Driver. You never thought you'd say Brett Hearn Racing Developmental Driver, did you?
No.
I like the idea, though.
I like the idea of it. I mean, it makes sense.
I mean, you see that a lot in NASCAR.
You see it in an app, but we don't really see it a lot in dirt modified racing.
It's like the first one to venture into that.
Yeah,
we got about 15 minutes left.
Yeah, we're good. We got time.
You also you don't see it in dirt car modified racing. But at the age that some of our stars, and I don't want to date any of them because
he's calling you old.
No. Listen, if you look at the guys, let's call them the old guys. They've been around since
veterans is what they prefer.
You can call them what you want.
Some of them have been racing over 30 years.
Some have been racing over 30 years, and the best of the best right now are those veterans.
Mm-hmm.
And it's few and far between to find young kids.
I don't know. We could have the argument.
We could have. There are young kids that are good that are coming.
Here we
up.
go.
But my point is you don't see a lot of those veteran drivers taking kids under the wing.
No. That I will give you that.
There's a few.
Right.
Kevin Bates with Alan Johnson.
Right.
Yeah, they help people.
They are helping, but not in this
in
this capacity where they're picking a young kid and they're just putting him in a ride and giving him the full technical
support
and sponsorship support, and saying, "Let's go learn, and I'm going to teach you what I know."
Right.
And to see a guy like Brett Hearn, who's got that corporate prowess, he's the corporate jet. I mean, he didn't earn that nickname for nothing. And to see somebody that's got all of those skills and be as good of a driver to pick a kid up like that and do something like this, it's
you got to wonder where's this going to lead to down the road.
Where's this going to lead to? Not only for Brett Hearn Racing.
I mean, at this point, you can obviously tell the kid's got talent. I mean, he's won some serious stuff in a legend car and in the go karts. He's not a fluke or anything like that, or not some.
No, he's got talent to work with.
Yeah, he's got talent. So
those summer, if anybody's ever seen those summer,
I've watched it on Speed. Yeah, I've watched it.
They're
legit.
tough to win.
Yeah, there's a lot of good cars at those.
There's a lot of kids in the last 6-8 years that have come out of that are now in some sort of NASCAR.
Right. And to be able to snake a kid out of there that's won as many races and put him in a dirt car sportsman and say, okay, let's go see what we got.
Yeah.
I if that kid follows the series,
we'll see. It'll be interesting to see.
Series,
yeah,
we'll see what happens.
We'll see where he's at, but good for him, and it's good for the sport. There's
it's
no
very,
way,
very good for the sport.
No way around that. So we wish him the best luck. Hopefully, he does well. And again, I look forward to talking to him again. Midway through the year and seeing where he's at and seeing how it's going for him. And
it'll be.
And we'll get Rolf on here in a week or so. We'll get Rolf on here a week or so who can tell us a little bit more about what exactly is going on with it. They got all sorts of marketing stuff going on.
Nice.
It's kind of cool.
Very good.
We can only have him on as a guest though show because if we have had anybody on the show that's a talker, this guy will trump them.
I don't know.
Tenfold.
Does he beat the stuntman?
He beats him.
Well, hang on.
The stuntman was awesome.
Hang on. Which one?
No,
which one?
Chris Morena or Robbie Knievel?
No. Chris Morena.
The first one.
Chris Morena, because he was talking about being upside down in a car and slowly unbuckling his seatbelt and all the
underwater.
The 50 things he did underwater, and he's just like, yeah,
it's like, I
got to stretch, got to do this, and I'm like,
Robbie Knievel wasn't underwater. What?
Yeah, he just tried
jump.
He's going to try jumping a canyon, but he wasn't underwater.
I'd have been freaking out, pulling a pocket knife out to cut the belt.
Yeah, I know, I would have been freaking too. That guy, the stories that guy was telling. You know what? That guy, I'd like to sit down and chat with him and hang out and listen to all the crazy crap that he has done.
Because underwater is exactly where you want to freak out.
Yeah,
no kidding.
Yeah,
nothing makes you want to breathe.
Him and Robbie Knievel, I would just like to sit down and just hear stories.
Over a few beers.
Have a couple adult beverages and hang out and just chat with them.
I'd like to pick what brains left from all those stunts. You know what I'm saying?
That would be entertaining, no doubt about that.
So, where are we going?
No, you know where we got to go next?
We got to get this in.
We got to go to Eldora.
We have to go to Eldora because you know what?
Did you see the video?
I'm going to take something back.
Did Shane Andrews change his opinion too?
I don't know, but you're an ass. But I'm gonna.
What does that mean?
He's just mocking me. all the bull crap I take because I'm bald and I'm an announcer like Shane, and everyone's like, "Oh, do you want to do is be
Well,
Shane?"
you want to be just like him,
right? Exactly.
That's mini Shane right there.
Mini. Listen, I got a bigger gut than he does, so I think he's mini me. Thank you.
He's the major celebrity, though.
Yeah, I'm a minor one, so we're good with that. I'm fine with it.
And
as long as you,
listen,
car snob.
for the record, for those of you that wonder that listen, I'm bald. I can't control it. It's not like it was something I had any control over.
I don't do this.
It's not
on
like
purpose.
I said, you know what? I want my hair to fall out so I can look like Shane Andrews. That was not the goal in life.
I don't believe you.
But listen, if I'm going to mimic someone,
hey,
and if you're going to aspire to have a career that is similar to someone else,
CNY Auto Freak's upset that I stole his joke. So,
yeah,
so that was his.
It's fine, But why would I? Why would I not want to be like Shane? Shane's one of the best dirt racing announcers going.
You're damn right, and it's good to have him at Canada Motorsports.
Yeah, you guys are lucky. You guys are lucky. You got a good one every week. So, there's poor people at Utica got to listen to me every week. So,
all right. So Eldora.
I will take something back, but I'm not going to take it back all the way. I said it's going to suck. Now I watched the test. The truck. Now, mind you, it was Tony Stewart. It was Tony Stewart driving it.
Tony Stewart and Austin Dillon.
And a Dillon. But they both have raced on dirt. They both have raced on dirt.
Yes, and they both have raced there.
Right. And they both have raced there. So, I'm not taking it back all the way. It looks like for those two, it's going to be pretty cool.
If it was all dirt track experience,
if it was all dirt track racers, it'd probably be okay.
But
it's going to be a bunch of guys that got no freaking clue.
There's going to be a bunch that don't have a clue. But how many NASCAR licenses are going to end up in the hands of a Sammy Swindell?
I don't know if you. Well, Sammy's driven a truck before.
Sammy's had him,
and that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Who's going to take a shot at
putting a dirt driver?
Similarly to a road course
The thing is you almost are going to have to put a late model guy in a truck. Because I don't think putting a sprint car guy is going to be the way to go. I think a late model will be the way to go.
Yeah, I think Sammy would pull it off. I think
because he understands the truck.
He's been in the truck,
right?
But how many
or even probably a UMP modified would probably even be better because they sit on the left side, and then in a truck you're going to sit on the left side. Right. Whereas a late model you're sitting in the middle.
Late model center.
Yeah, some sort of full fendered experience, or I don't want to use the term open wheel because that puts you back in.
Or what about a guy like Jimmy Johnson that's raced off-road trucks?
Right. Robbie Gordon.
Yeah,
that's the guy that's going to win that race.
More of a car
because he's not afraid to run everybody over.
He could care less
stuff.
Not wing stuff. I don't think wing stuff's going to be the way to go.
No, I don't think it is either. But I think somebody's going to.
The transition is going to be.
It'll be cool to see if somebody puts Sammy Swindell in a truck. That'll be awesome.
I want to know how many car owners.
Right.
I want to know how many car owners are going to take the chance.
And put a specialty
like they do for the road courses.
Right, put a specialty driver in a car.
Pull a driver.
Scott Bloomquist. Jimmy Owens.
Yeah,
Jimmy Owens.
There's so much talent on dirt.
Right, but here's the other thing.
Either one of the Blaney's.
We don't know what kind of schedules are going to look like with World of Outlaw or Lucas Oil.
Right. You got to
wait. They're going to have that.
They race on a lot of weekday.
That's a midweek show. It's a Wednesday night,
right? It's a Wednesday night, that race.
I'm excited because
you don't know that they're even going to be available.
I am hoping to God that I am out of school by then, summer school, because I want to go.
I've never been
to Eldora to see a race. I've been there, just never seen a race because it's rained out.
I've never been there.
When it starts to get closer, you need to see what schedules look like and see what race series are.
We're going to find out soon because I think the World of Outlaw late model schedule is out.
And Lucas Oil late
model. They've got tentative schedules out. Some races on them. They're going to fill more in.
Here's the question, John. You may give up points. But is a dirt driver running on a series, if a truck series owner calls you and says, "Hey, I want you to run," how many of those guys are going to say no to the opportunity?
None of them.
None of them. It depends on your situation. You're a contracted driver.
If you're like a guy like
Joey
Bloomquist.
What'd you say?
What about Joey Logano?
Isn't he driving for Roger Penske next year? He's your buddy now.
Bull crap.
You got to root for him. He's in your stable.
Drive air up a pig's ass.
He is your team now. You have to root for him. You have to root for him.
I don't think
Roger Penske owns his car. You're screwed.
No,
You're done.
I did watch that video of Smoke in they look
good.
Trucks.
They look good.
Not only did they look good, but they sounded good. They had to be turning 10,000.
Yeah, they didn't sound bad. But the thing is, you got to remember, both those guys have dirt experience.
Absolutely.
So you put those guys out there, that run the trucks that have done nothing but race on pavement. It's not going to be. It's going to be like the Dream where they wreck a bunch of crap.
I don't know about that because they've got
the prelude to the Dream. Excuse me.
What we saw, they looked good. You're failing to mention when the video started, there was already a big giant chunk taken out of the front bumper of that truck.
But again, they're old trucks. I'm sure they're just testing to see how is this going to work.
Well, they'd been into something.
Yeah,
they're gonna have to put different noses on those to do it though.
Yeah,
they're gonna have to put the rubber nose on.
They didn't look. Yeah, they didn't look good.
Well, I think there's going to be a lot of changes, but I think to be with Tony Stewart at the helm of Eldora and leading that charge,
it's a good thing for Eldora. It's a good thing for the Truck Series. I'll give it that. I just hope the race doesn't suck, and that is still my fear because even with 5 or 8 dirt guys in it, there's still going to be all those guys with no experience, and they're going to suck.
They're going to be
out to lunch.
Yes,
out to lunch because everything you've ever learned in pavement racing, forget it when you run on dirt. And they better not make that track so slick and crappy that they can't pass, because then I'll be pissed.
Yeah, and then it'll be like watching a NASCAR.
Right, then they'll all run around the bottom, and it'll suck.
No, they won't run around the bottom there.
The other thing
you run on the fence there.
The other thing that caught my ear,
it's going to be more wrecks.
Yeah.
The other thing that caught my ear is NASCAR is interested in talking about heat races and last chance qualifiers for that event.
Yeah.
See, I think what they should do is make that
been dedetermined, but I think that's what they're going to end up doing.
What they should do is do something like a show up point deal, whereas if all the guys show up, I don't think they should do full points because
a full point.
I don't think they should because
I don't think it should be a point event at all. To be honest,
I don't think it's fair. No. I think it should be show up points. Make it like 100 show up points, so you have to go and you have to be there. But don't make it so if a guy that's going to be totally awful is going to just has
cost
no
him
chance.
A championship.
Make it pay some money and make it worth your time to race it.
Right.
But don't make it so it's going to cost somebody a championship.
It needs to be a
then I don't
event.
think it'll be beneficial to the series if it does that.
No, it won't.
Because at the end of the year, it comes down and it costs some guy a championship by 2 points because he never raced on dirt and he's terrible.
Okay, then throw that in about a road course too. What's the difference?
No, it's different. You're still on pavement though.
Racing ovals your whole life.
No. It's different.
It's different.
It is happens all the time.
It is a lot different. John.
Dirt racing and pavement racing, because I think
road course racing
it is easier to go from an oval track. Oval track to a road course than it will be for those guys to go from an oval track to dirt. Guaranteed.
John.
It's a tough transition, but they're all tough transitions.
John,
if you're a born
have you watched the Prelude?
Road course racer, that's what you grew up doing.
You're going to be better at it than anybody else.
Right. Oval, you're lost.
But you're not.
So if you grew up
it's
on
not
ovals,
the same as
to a
running.
Road course is a tough transition.
You know what? Let's take someone that ran road course and put them on dirt and see how they do.
Some people, no matter what the transition, it's very,
hear that record
very
skip?
difficult.
Yeah, it was nice, right? Yeah,
it's very difficult.
But I'm telling you, it's not going to be the same. It's still not fair. I don't.
No,
I don't think
there are
that
some people that just cannot run a road course race.
There's some people that can't
run ovals.
There's some people that can't run
a dirt track.
anything.
But the thing is, these guys listen.
So you're going to find out who actually has talent.
You can't go back later at the end of the year. Well, if we didn't have the dirt race, we would have won.
Yeah, but this is different. It's a different type of
James Buescher would have qualified for Phoenix Truck
Okay,
race
so what's
last year,
next,
he'd
John?
be a 2-time champ.
So, John, what's next?
What if?
How about
What
this?
if?
We're going to put big tires on them. We're going to run them through the desert, and we're going to call that a NASCAR Camping World Truck Series race too.
Okay, if that's part of the schedule.
No, it's not. I don't think that's right. That's not what
it's not even close.
And it'd be one thing, if it's just, to me, making it a full point show and making guys that have no knowledge whatsoever running dirt, put them on dirt. They're going to wreck a bunch of crap. They're going to wreck crap.
They're going to
because the prelude to the dream, they wreck crap. That, like you were saying, that's where you learn the whole thing. These guys can't race on dirt.
No.
You know what?
They can if they learn it.
No. But listen,
they're not going to learn it one day or
those
one
guys, when they go run a road course, you're still racing on pavement. It's still pavement. It's still the same surface.
So
the same principles apply.
The same
you don't want the ass of your car. But I'm just saying it's the same surface.
But now you look at you got Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch has won the Prelude.
Yeah, but he drives everything.
He drives everything.
Yeah, he's one of the few guys that can drive everything.
Right, and there's not many that'll be like that though.
Who's going to go get Clint Boyer? He's a dirt guy.
Yeah,
Michael Waltrip Racing is buying a truck.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
Everybody's buying a truck for that race.
I think they are fielding a truck team next year. I thought I read that the other day.
I can't. Maybe.
I'm on the same.
Whoa! Don't
like
talk about it because then we didn't do our research and we won't know.
Yeah, I know, right?
It seems like I read that somewhere that Michael Waltrip Racing is going to have a truck team next year. I
don't know.
I'm with you with the fact that they should make it a show of points.
So you have to go.
You have to go. You have to be there. You get the points regardless of finish.
Right. And if you want to do it, this way, here's what I would say. If you want to make it full points, Make it full points for the owner's points and make it show up points for the driver points or something like that. So then we satisfy both ends of it.
Yeah, everybody's happy.
Everybody's happy. So
I
you
like the diversity. There should be more diversity.
You know what?
Here's
John,
the thing.
if
John,
you're going to do this every year, if you're going to do it every year,
him and I
the
were
race fans have been begging for more diversity.
Here's the thing. Him and I were.
Now we get it, and you're complaining.
No, we're not complaining.
But you made a point earlier about the difficult transition from. It's like oval to road course.
Going from
they
one
have been
type of racing to
listen.
another.
They have been racing in NASCAR on road courses
and
since the early '80s.
They started on dirt
You're right, they did, but they also ran
50,
and they also
right up to 1970.
Right,
yeah,
and also through 1970, they all knew we're running this schedule.
Right,
this is dirt, this is asphalt. There's a difference.
Yeah, and they all know it now.
They do know it now,
but
the point is they don't do it anymore. So you can't
listen. If you're going to
treat that race like it is a normal race on the truck schedule.
They are.
But if you added 10 dirt races, I'm fine with that because then you have dirt races and pavement races.
That's why you got to let this one happen. You don't know what.
I know what's going to happen. They're going to do it once. It's going to be like everything else will be a novelty, and then they're going to get rid of it.
3 or 4 down the road.
Tony Stewart wants to run cup cars on.
But here's my
Eldora.
thing: where are the facilities? You know, you and I talked about this on the way. What other facilities other than per se Knoxville, maybe Lowe's, maybe Las Vegas,
Charlotte,
are you going to be able to do this?
There's a handful of tracks out there.
Maybe
that
5
have the proper facilities.
Proper facilities to hold
to do this.
So maybe 5.
There aren't many.
But moving past that, what happens if this works out for dirt tracks going forward in the future? That they may not be spending the money on the facility itself to make it something worthy of running trucks on or cup cars or whatever the case is.
We're never going to see a cup race on dirt. Never.
I don't think we will either.
You can't. There's not. You know, we were talking about this. There's
money.
not a facility
Too much money in
that can afford it. I mean, if we're going to go to a cup race at Knoxville, they hold, what do we say, 26,000 or something like that.
It doesn't hold 100,000 people.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to do it. I mean, what are you going to charge? $200 a ticket? But then again, if it was at Knoxville, I think I would. I don't care if you charge $500 a ticket. I'd pay for it.
I would. Still, it's not going to happen.
I'd pay to see it once.
You know, my point is how would it help dirt tracks across the board to do that more often? I mean, would more dirt track promoters throw money in to the facility to bring it up to a level
but
that
I
you
think
could
the
run
thing is,
trucks
it's
there?
not necessarily the facility; it's the amount of seating. Like you look at all the dirt tracks around here, there's none of them that are big enough seat wise to put on one of these shows. You can't. There's just not enough seating. No. I mean, even the biggest tracks only hold 5,000 people.
They could do 2 Bristol races each year.
Yeah, you could put dirt down on Bristol or something like that.
If Bruton wanted to do that, I don't think Bruton would do that again. But
right, but yeah, who knows?
Elko, Minnesota.
They're putting dirt down. But again, even the facilities that are covering up the dirt, like Airborne's doing it. That's not a big enough facility to have a truck race or even and again, even the biggest, best dirt facilities, none of them are big enough to have
a
cup
truck race at Fonda or
no, you're not.
Whatever, Canandaigua, wherever it may be.
No, you're not.
It's not going to happen. You don't have the facilities.
We'll try to get we'll try to shorten up the schedule for next week. That way, next week we can roll into this more. Yeah,
I hate this schedule.
We are running out of time. Yeah, I know it sucks, but we've got to do what we got to do. Guys, thanks for joining us on this edition of the 31st Lap. We're going to be right back here next Thursday for John Baumus, Mike Mallett, and Rich Post. I'm Chris Marquardt. We'll see you next week.
www.fingerlakes1.com